Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June 22nd, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I am doing overall good. Day is good. We were kind of going with this when I kind of hit this, little staccato or whatever. Um, Emotionally not great, just for reasons. It was a long day, longer than it should have been for my favorite day of the week, but that's okay. It's one of those things where you kind of have to do the whole math when you clock out and you get home, and you take some deep breaths, if you will. It's part of the reason I like this process, is that obviously, hopefully you come here for my weird wonky commentary on news things and happenings, but hopefully you'll like the personal banter part, the bloggy part, because for me, I just kind of realized it just became integral for me, at least for this. So hey, it's just sometimes not every day is gonna be the best, and that's okay. I've learned to take stock in things and really, you know, be happy with the good. Like, I'm very happy to be alive, and I think that's a thing. It's something you should not take for granted. It's something you don't forget. Not to be that guy preachy, but once again, this is kind of for me. A lot of this stuff is sometimes a little bit of an affirmation. I get to put it in stone, if you will. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Obviously, I'm getting right into the personal corner. No food. How rude of me. I've been sadly doing the usual, living off of energy drinks, just up to no good, eating just terrible things. I burger, hot dog, fries. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, I want to whine about. I had at my local Kroger for like a week and a half. I had a sriracha shortage. Every time I was in the aisle, I'm like, what's going on? Like, I was chasing my tail. I'm like, I know it should be here. What's happened? And it happened to me like twice. And I was like, what? So finally, with bated breath, I go in last weekend, and they have it. And it's a new brand. And I'm already suspicious. It doesn't look right. It's different. There's no jumbo equivalent. I'm like, this is not my sriracha. Now, granted, I know I shouldn't really be that beholden to it. At the end of the day, it is just another version of like tomato paste and some chilies from like San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, whatever. But, like, you're used to the flavor. And this is more or less the same, but it's a bit different. The recipe's different. There's an ox on it now as opposed to the rooster. So, I have thoughts, I have concerns, but I'll take what is given. I was just happy to see my sriracha bottle. I was compensating with like the BB Bop yum sauce and like chili flakes. I was on some MacGyver shit with the condiments, but we may do. All right, all right, all right. But yeah, okay. Enough foods, enough condiments, enough tears. Let's get into some. Well, maybe not. Maybe there are some tears for baby. There's some things to cry about. I guess it's kind of an emotional day, maybe for some. But yeah, let's talk about that. From ABC News, Titanic submersible. What a catastrophic implosion means, and what officials found. Also, another article we're gonna source from the NPR. The five men who were aboard the wrecked Titan subbed uh, loved adventures and taking risks. Now, this is an update on the situation about the Titanic expedition, about the five, individuals who were involved in that. We've talked about it a couple times. I was kind of thinking like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll wait until the weekend, see. But I mean, at the same time, it was suspected that, hey, they're going to run out of air around Thursday morning. So another thing I've kind of learned doing a little bit more research and listening is that there was another function that potentially could be used, is that like there was like I think like a potential like implosion thing. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Like, I might be interpreting the information wrong because there's a lot of like breaking news or whatever. But essentially what it seems to have happened is they had found some debris. Um, I guess we can do. Let's do some reading. A submersible carrying 5 people while on top. While on a trip to the Titanic wreckage, suffered a catastrophic implosion. U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral John Mauger said at a press conference on Thursday. A remote operated vehicle found debris from the OceanGate Titan submersible tail cone approximately 1,600 feet from the ship. I also believe that they found this debris around the area where they last lost contact. So it's kind of believed that maybe this implosion is what caused it. And I kind of wanted to stop myself there in terms of the top because I'm like, I don't want to get into how this happened because that's not known yet. Let me not do any conjecture because I think some people are saying like, oh, well, maybe it went down this way or that way, but no one knows. This shit literally is unfolding now. But yeah, I mean, it is a very sad situation. Any loss of life is. Let me get that off the jump. I mean, at the end of the day, I do try to do the whole edutainment shit. But that being said, I also do air out my feelings on a lot of things on this podcast. It's part of what I do. It's part of the appeal or whatever the fuck you would say about this podcast. It's the thing I do. But these are people who paid $250,000 each to get into this submersible crisscross applesauce. And also, mind you, too, they signed a waiver where I think at least at 3 times they say you could die doing this, by the way. Like, you could die. And I mean, granted, we all sign things like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure if you're a skydiver, hey, you signed that. You've done that. But once again, I've said my piece in terms of, you wouldn't find me in the submersible. You know what I mean? No shot. Especially when you learn more about the details. I've learned this wasn't even a certified submarine or submersible, if you will. Essentially, there's a group of individuals who work on submarines, like they maintain the pedigree, whatever the standard, and essentially, this OceanGate group was like, we don't want to run our submersible through that because we are doing like an innovative thing, and we don't want like people to like tell us our submarine isn't up to grade because we're doing some cutting edge shit. I'm paraphrasing this, but like that was the energy they're putting out here on their website. And it's like, no, you guys are cutting corners so that you can literally do magic school bus trips to the wreckage of the Titanic. They are cutting costs. Like, I'm sorry, but like they keep using the term minivan. Like, they compare the submersible to like a minivan, but like the whole experience when you even get inside the cockpit, like compared to other submarines where you have so much backup, you have so much like protocol. Like, these people were literally on like one-way communication text messages. They did not have like on seat like navigation. They were literally using like a modified Xbox controller. Like, this shit was a bad scene, and like everyone signed papers and said let's go. That's crazy. Not to mention there have been other people who have done this because they've been at it for a while. Not to mention adding that you're running the submersible in deep dark depths. There have been times where this thing has gotten lodged and stuck, and they're like, oh yeah, we just figured it out, we worked it out. Or like there's been like problems when they've like gone to load up and they just like, oh, we almost like fell and it was kind of crazy and scary, but we were fine. Like, people have almost lost their life time and time again, and then this finally happened. So it is, to me, a sad situation. That is how I will per se it from my perspective. It is a sad situation. But yeah, man, you wouldn't catch me doing that shit. But that being said, I did want to at least say that, the names of the people, make sure we, covered that part because I do think it's important. I mean, this was news that I was, once again, doing water cooler talk. Obviously, I'm sure if you were tuning in, you've seen the fucking memes. There's memes galore about this shit, however you feel about that. But let's see. The passengers included British businessman Hamish Harden, Pakistani investor Shahzada Dawood, and his son Suli Dawood. French diver Paul Henry Nargolet, and OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush. I did just get a story too confirming what I kind of heard from like Twitter too about the son Soliman. He is like 19 years old, I believe, like a graduate or like in college, what have you, and like he really didn't want to go on the trip. It just didn't sound appealing to him, I'm assuming, and maybe he was just doing the threat assessment problem, like, I don't like this. Um, but he wanted to do it for his dad, and I get it. Like these all these guys involved are like heavy into it. Like I know with the like diver guy, who I believe is like the pilot. He's done. He was called Mr. Titanic. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck else they're calling Mr. Titanic other than him and James fucking Cameron? You know what I mean? Who also chimed his 2 cents in, and even he was throwing shade. So if you're gonna come for me, you're coming for the creator of Avatar, by the way. So just be fair, be forewarned. We are rowing the same boat. Okay? Okay, just for the record. But yeah, I mean, shit's fucked up. Be careful. Like, if you're paying this much money, please, like, make sure they're not doing weld sprockets from like auto parts, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you should be in the most official shit. I want you to be in Subnautica situations, my guy. If you're gonna be this adventurer, you know what I mean. Same thing for like a skydiver, right? That's what they call it. Yeah, skydiver. So it's such a weird thought to me. But like, I would want you to be in the best gear if you were gonna be this guy, this mavericky gal, what have you. If you want a Peggy Hill, at least be in the best equipment, because I don't want to see you fall. I don't want to see you hit flat. I don't want to see you in an implosion. Okay, so I've gone long here. I'm sorry. This is gonna be a long episode. My bad. But let's move along. There is another explosion. CNN. 31 dead after gas explosion at barbecue restaurant in China. At least 31 people are dead and 7 injured in the Chinese city of Yingchuan in northwest Ningxia region after a gas explosion at a barbecue restaurant Wednesday night. I think it was like some kind of like, liquefied gas tank. This took place around 8:40 p.m. Obviously, that's kind of like one of those eerily kind of weird news bundles I'm hitting you with here, because we just had the situation in France, and now we're having the situation here in China, both like gas related. Now, once again, how I'm interpreting this situation and seeing it, I don't think this was like a domestic terrorism situation. I don't think this was like I think this was like a leak. But 2 staffers from the restaurant where, like, I think that, the gas tank was that exploded, 2 staffers found the valve of gas, the gas tank had broken, and sent another staff member to buy a new one, according to a statement. The explosion took place as the valve was being replaced. But I think this has actually like led to some arrests. The police have detained 9 people and frozen their assets, including the restaurant's manager, employees, and shareholders, according to state media China Youth Daily. So, I mean, that's something that, like, that hit my little alarm bell. Like, that's scary. That's intense. And I understand, because if you're going from the perspective of like, look, if you guys had been more effective, more on it, this is your business, this is your responsibility, so that's why this is happening. But yet again, that's kind of why, once again, I like doing this podcast, because it always shows me a bunch of perspectives week to week, and it just, I don't know, it reminds me like, hey, I gotta look at this and see like, hey, this country's gonna handle it this way, and another country's gonna handle it another way. Like, one's gonna maybe make more sense to me, another one's gonna maybe not. So, but it does, it's like, oh shit, like, I would not expect the whole crew to get fucking done up. But then for some reason, once I hear the shareholders, it goes, oh yeah, because like they're gonna top to bottom run this all down and say, hey, who's responsible, who's not. And you can also look at it from like a propaganda perspective if you want to. Like, well, yeah, it shows that they're doing something, and Xi can say, hey, look, like, this is really sad, this is fucked up, we're gonna make sure that this doesn't happen again, and you show them making the effort. But kind of just like Erdogan and the earthquake. Sorry. He immediately did action, but in his situation, it's like, bro, you were part of the problem on that. Like, you allowed this fucking shit to exist and fester. So, awkward. Like, why do you do this way too little too late? Also, a bit of a tangent. Biden decided that he wanted to be a little brazy with his talk, and he called President Xi, because he is a president, at least by definition, by title. He just said, oh, no, he's a dictator. And he was, like, talking about it in a way like, well, he let the whole China balloon thing happen. Like, it was, an accident he didn't see coming, which is kind of fucked up because, bro, you didn't either. Like, you were notified and surprised about it, too, and it was in your backyard. But, like, he, more or less just saying, like, yeah, dictators do what they do, da-da-da type shit. I'm paraphrasing as fuck. But then that prompted a huge response from China officials and stuff like that. So that's news. I'm just cramming it all in tonight. We're going long. We're going deep. Let's see. The next story is from CBS News Boston. I wish I could have used the initial thing I wanted to use because it was like it was 69 News. Like, that's so goated. What a good ass fucking like news site, news publication. Like, we're blah 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 69 News. Nice. Fuck, man. Like, I'd do a lot for that. But lawsuit filed against Harvard former morgue manager Cedric Lodge over stolen body parts. What a fucking mouthful. I need to drink some water. Okay. Sorry. I'm gabbing a lot tonight. A class action lawsuit has been filed against Harvard University and the former manager of Harvard Medical School's morgue over stealing heads, brains, skin, and bones and selling those body parts to collectors on the black market. Prosecutors involved in the criminal case say Cedric Lodge, the former manager of the morgue, is accused of stealing body parts from cadavers donated to the medical school for research. Lodge, along with his wife, are accused with selling the dissected remains to a Salem woman and two men in Pennsylvania. The suit mirrors the... Hold on, I got an ad in the way. Yuck. The suit mirrors the indictment and demands answers as to how this could have happened and why there was not enough oversight to prevent it. The suit also claims Harvard was negligent and failed to safeguard the precious gifts it was given. It also names Lodge as a defendant in the case. Now, I also got to give credit where credit is due. Last podcast on the left, Side Stories, definitely put me on this. So I was super like, just, I was like, wow, I was really just interested in the story. Fascinated even. But just obviously, like, they hit a good note about it where it's just like, this is something that, like, this person was exploiting, like, minorities, poor people, like, people literally at their worst moment. Because those are usually the people, and you can also add another slice of the people who are, like, you could say almost sorely optimistic in the whole process of, like, hey, like, I'm going to be passing away, and I want, like, my organs to go to a good place. I want my body to be, donated to science, donated to medicine. I wanted to go to a good cause. And yeah, maybe in the operation, like, you're just a cadaver in a car rotting for science or something. But still, that is a good cause. That is a noble endeavor. That's a good thing. Like, to be that, podcaster. But, like, when my dad passed away, we donated him to, like, medical science. We did that for multiple reasons, just to be fucking real. Like, one is my dad wasn't, like, a very tangential guy, I guess you could say. Like, he, at the end of the day, he was passing away. His body was done. It was over, whatever. So he was down to do the most efficient thing. And he and I just both kind of shared that, like, you could bury me in a fucking fridge case. It does not matter. Like, as crude as that sounds. So, when the people who are helping him set up everything, like, that was the process. He donated his body to science. Now, do I know what happened to my father? No, I don't. I got a scant amount of remains that were remaining, and that's where he sits, in his little living area, whatever. But I can't imagine you find out the news that someone literally used your loved one's skin. They sold it. They fucking sold it. You know what I mean? Like, Harvard's supposed to be a notable fucking thing. You know what I mean? A fucking good ass, reputable fucking institution. And within this this institution, this motherfucking guy ran a whole ass fucking body farm. So, yeah, that was fucked up, and I wanted to talk about it. I'm sorry. Yo, this is such an abyss episode. Like, when I think about it. Jesus shit, man. Okay. I got one more thing to talk about, and I'll let you go. And it's not bad. It's a palate cleanser, I swear. So you have to stick around. You have to hang around. You have to hang out with me while I take my break, and then we'll clear the stack. I promise. Ooh, we're back. Okay. From USA Today. Billionaire brawl. Techie suit up. Oh, wow. They really milked it on this title. Thank you, USA Today. Elon Musk tweet challenges Mark Zuckerberg to a fight. So yeah, this shit is like some breaking ass news a la Thursday. My favorite fucking day. So I'm glad they gave me a win. But I guess this stems from talk about, I'm just gonna paraphrase some of this shit here, but Mark Zuckerberg is coming up with he's scheming. They're scheming at Meta. Okay, they're trying to take over what they feel like is the king. I feel like you can take this in kind of two approaches. TikTok is still fucking dominating in terms of like what it can do, its output, what how the platform works. People eat it up, but then also like I feel like in a social conversation space. Like, literally, people get their news from Twitter, which is crazy. But, I mean, guilty. Sometimes. But, Twitter is a crazy space that people want the market for. It's literally part of the reason why Elon Musk fucking paid out for it. You know what I mean? So he can share his fucking lame-ass fucking memes and do his fucking shit and hopefully farm some money. You know what I mean? I guess. And get some attention. Lord, he loves that fucking attention. So I just couldn't pass up the story when I thought about it. I'm like, yo, like they literally are really challenging each other to a fight. That's crazy. Sorry, I'm having a cramp in my stomach. Love this day. Goblin mode is hurting me. These are real podcasting problems. I'm talking about it. I'm airing it out. Dude, actually, like Elon Musk, I should be hitting the gym. That's my problem. Ugh. Okay. But, let's see. Essentially, Elon Musk is, trying to clap back at the idea of threads, which is the new idea that Meta, Facebook is trying to come up with. Essentially, it's supposed to be like a Twitter killer. Which we'll see. I don't know. I have to see the rollout for it. I'm sure they're just beta testing it now. I think there's also another thing that might be trying to roll out via Instagram. So, I mean, we'll see. I will say they added on Instagram the music thing on the notes, so I'm kind of using it a little bit more. But, sorry, we're kind of shifting into tech news a bit here while I, like, stretch in a chair. But, so they were talking shit, and then someone's like, would you fight, like, Elon Musk, or would you fight Mark Zuckerberg? Like, would you fight him, like, challenge him to a fight or whatever? And we'll read this quote. I'm up for a cage match if he is. The 51-year-old Twitter owner posted in a Twitter thread Tuesday after striking back at a user's post referencing Zuckerberg's jiu-jitsu experience. Then in an Instagram story, Mark Zuckerberg said, "Send me location." And I looked it up, and it's like him like squaring up in his little gear, his little MMA gear. Now, we've talked a little bit about our little lizard, our little overlord. He's been training. He's been hitting the gym. And, I have seen at least some of the footage. He can throw his little hands. He can bop. So the idea that like this really could happen is enticing. It's fun to mull over. This is like the celebrity death match you've already thought out. I know you have, because I have. You've got to be. If you're terminally online, if you've just got a little bit of that icky brain rot that I have, you've already done the claymation fight. Okay? You've actually made it better. I'm sure like me, you've added like Jeff Bezos with like a mech suit and he like flies in and kills them all. And then he blows up. And that's like, oh my God. And then you wake up. But, this quote unquote could happen. But Vegas Octagon, Musk replied. I have this great move that I call the walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and do nothing. And it's like, okay. And you see he's already doing the like nerdy, geeky cop-out thing of like, I'm going to use my charisma to get through this conversation. Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if he really thought? Yeah, I totally am going to meet you there. But of course, this dumbass, nerdy-ass meeting between these dumb rich guys is going to like stir the pot. And Dana White's like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I'll totally sponsor this. Yeah, totally. UFC. And then Andrew Tate is over here like, oh, I don't know, come to Romania. I'm not doing an Andrew Tate accent today. I'm not doing it. But he's like, yeah, I'm going to train you. I don't know if Elon must respond to that, but yeah, whatever, man. That's news today. It's crazy out here. It's brutal. I fear. But you stay safe. You cherish life and you love it. That's what we say. That's the end notes. And on that note, patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support the effort, it gets you newsy status. Not only you're a cool newsy person, but then I also shout your name out on the podcast, as well as any project, any thing you're doing. You know what I mean? You just turn me into a little billboard. Ooh. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. That's the email if you want to send me some whatever feedback, 90s style. I'm here for that. Facebook, Twitter. That's right. Both of them. I'm on both sides. I can't lose, baby. Then Instagram. What else is there? YouTube. Yeah, let's not forget the YouTube. The Google sphere. Into the Google sphere. I'm there. I'm tired, y'all. Subscribe to that. Yeah, hit the bell. If you're an Apple user, that's cool. Do that. Tim Cook versus who's the Android guy? Bill Gates? That'd be cool. Yeah, actually, that'd be a fun fight. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I'm done. I gotta go. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.